This is Tom Robleski, the political editor of the Staten Island Advance. We're here at the newspaper's headquarters in Grasmere with Advance editor Brian Leyline and also Advance City Hall Bureau Chief Sally Goldenberg. Transportation and the economy, there's in very special ways, unique ways on Staten Island. I guess those are intertwined, given the fact that the chronic traffic problems in a lot of ways sometimes interfere, wouldn't you say, with the businesses being able to attract people to come and work here, and that does hurt the local economy.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that, the position that I've taken on this transportation issue, I think it probably, a lot of people on Staten Island probably agree with it, but not wholeheartedly with me. I think the transportation problem on Staten Island is not as severe on the local streets around Staten Island as it is on the Staten Island Expressway. And I think the Expressway, it sends a message out that there's gridlock all over Staten Island. It's really not. The issue, I think, in the local streets on Staten Island can be improved, which this local city DOT is doing now by more right-on reds, traffic control agents, that kind of thing. But I think that the problem with the Staten Island Expressway is no longer just a Staten Island problem. It's a regional problem because it's an artery that's clogged between New Jersey and the north. And it's clogged because of the massive amount of truck traffic and regular traffic that just uses Staten Island as a pass-through. And Staten Island people are getting caught up on that when they have to get on the expressway or have to get to work. So yeah, the economy, I think, and transportation are tied directly because, as you said, Tom, there's Class A office space over on South Avenue between the Nicotra buildings, the Teleport, the Atco Electric building, Stanley K's chocolate factory building, and there's a lot of empty office space there because there's barely any public transportation to get there. Certainly no subways, but buses, I think, are sporadic. And people who want to take their car, well, let's say it's a back office for Merrill Lynch. People who live in Brooklyn or New Jersey or Queens, and they want to take their car to get there, it's going to be a heck of a ride to get there. And that's why I think somebody's got to take a look at this Staten Island Expressway issue. It's a state road. It's got to be the state office.
Just about traffic in general, I think, it's hard enough, as we all know, to get Staten Island attention in the city where there are 5 boroughs, but in the state where there are 62 municipalities, it's very hard to get statewide officials to, pay attention, to recognize the problems out here. And I think it is going to be up to the local politicians to really make their case.
Again, congestion pricing is another issue that's still lingering in the state with the change of administrations. Where is this on lawmakers' radars, and what do you think in terms of the new administration, and do you have any inkling of where Patterson is on the issue of congestion pricing?
He's been very quiet on it. He hasn't answered the question. He's supposedly spoken privately with Bloomberg about it. I would imagine he would be in favor of it. He and Bloomberg seem to have a pretty good relationship. And I don't know that if he wasn't in favor of it, that he would take, a hard stance against it. But the deadline is March 31st. He was just sworn in. Now he has, his own issues, his own sex scandal to answer to. And there's still not really enough support in the Assembly, and Speaker Sheldon Silver still isn't coming out in support of it. So even if Patterson is supporting it, I don't really see how easily it could get done by March 31st. And with that, then, there's a big loss of federal money, and I don't know if that program would either die or it would just be put on the back burner.
We'll make you state DOT commissioner. I'll give you total fiat over the Staten Island Expressway. What would your solution be, or what suggestions would you say A, B, and C? Let's take a look at all of these.
I think you got to look at, you can get dramatic and say, let's put a train or light rail down the middle of the Staten Island Expressway, or you can be realistic and say, let's look at some kind of congestion pricing on the expressway that would deal with truck traffic, and perhaps try to keep the trucks on the expressway between midnight and 8 a.m. in the morning, for example, or something that some traffic expert would come up with. But I think somebody's got to take a step back, and that's one of the reasons why I'm disappointed that the NASCAR experiment didn't last a little bit longer. I think NASCAR, we challenged them to do this. They never really came through with it. NASCAR had to have the best traffic people in the United States in terms of studying traffic, because they handle massive amounts of traffic in communities across America. I challenged them personally, come up with a traffic plan, not just for your NASCAR site, but for all of Staten Island. Well, NASCAR is not here anymore. Somebody's got to do that. Somebody's got to look at traffic from the New Jersey Turnpike through the Gowanus and the BQE to see how to lighten this load. And I certainly think that some kind of congestion traffic pricing experiment would work to keep trucks, in an area where there wouldn't be rush hour traffic. people trying to get to work. Because the bottom line is, if a new Goethals Bridge is ever built, it's ridiculous to dump it into the same expressway that exists now.